3 simple lining drills to make your retrievers lining even better. Welcome to Cornerstone Gundog Academy, where you can learn to train your retriever with our online videos. So when it comes to lining, it's one of the most foundational and crucial skills sets that you can teach your dog. I mean, it is absolutely imperative that you get this right, because it's going to help you have the best experience possible, and it's going to help you have your dog under the best control possible if you have a dog that takes lines properly. Now, to do that, there's tons of drills. I mean, I could give you tons of lining drills, but I want to give you 3 simple right now that are really just going to be easy to implement and that you can make, that will make a big difference in your training. Now, the first lining drill that you can implement right away, assuming you've started retrieving with your dog, are lining memory retrieves. Now, I talk about those a lot, and there's a reason. They're a very foundational drill. They're very important. They're easy to get success on, and they're just a great drill to run with your dog. Simply choose a start and an end point. Walk out, drop your bumper at the end point, walk back to your start point, line your dog up, and send it. Now, I'm going to talk about details here in a little bit, so just keep that in the back of your mind as far as details go, because there's something I want to mention here in just a bit. The second one that you can do is the wagon wheel drill. Now, the wagon wheel drill, you've probably heard of it already, and it's a great drill that can become very advanced, or you can really make it very simple. And it's really going to be a great drill to help you and your dog work on the same page and making sure you're lining in multiple different directions. And overall, it's a great drill. You can run it in different ways. You can run it as marked retrieves. You can run it as blind retrieves. You can run it as kind of a mixture of them. The way I like to do it, just for simple tune-up work, is a simple 4 bumper wagon wheel. And that's where you're going to throw the bumper out basically at 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 9 o'clock if we are looking at a clock, but you're going to throw them out in each direction. And you've got 4 bumpers, and then you can choose which direction you want your dog to go. You can line your dog up on the one you want to send them on, and then you can send them. So you can even launch bumpers off of a bumper launcher if you want, or you can just throw them out. And again, this is a great way to get your dog focused on staying on your leg, making sure that they're lining the right way. And the third and simple drill that you can do are pattern blind retrieves. And pattern blind retrieves are a great drill and retrieve that you can perform with your dog. Now, when you're out there working on pattern blinds, a pattern blind is an extension of a lining memory, and it really bleeds in and transitions you between just your basic pattern blinds and your cold blind retrieves. We've already talked about that in another post, but what I want to hone in on here is just the simplicity of it, and where you can focus very strictly on the lines. You can take a pattern blind and move it to different cover, sides of hills, all kinds of different terrains, thick cover, low cover, into water. You can take those pattern blinds and focus on the lines. And a pattern blind is just a lining memory that you've run multiple times. You go out one day and you already have the bumper out. You line your dog, and then you send them, and then you build their confidence until they get to the point to where they'll go. That's what's called a pattern blind, because the dog didn't see you put it out, where they will go when you send them. So those are 3 simple drills. Now, I mentioned details. Now, this is so important, because every drill, and no matter what drill you run, is just a drill. It's how you run it. It's how you focus on you and your dog that makes the difference. And that's why I say details. When you're running a simple lining memory drill, you may be thinking, well, that's so easy. Anybody can do that. Well, I want you to focus on the details when you're out there working on these lining memories. It's how your dog runs the lining memory. It's not just completing the retrieve. It's how your dog does on every single step that it takes. Is that dog maintaining that beautiful straight line? Is your dog kind of veering off course a bit? What's going on with that lining memory? Those are the type of questions you can ask yourself. Same for the wagon wheel. It's how your dog runs it. Is your dog being calm? Are they taking the exact line that you give them? Or are they wanting to drift over and pick up one of the other bumpers that's on the ground? And then for the pattern blind retrieve, same thing here as lining memories. Is your dog maintaining a beautiful straight line? Even when you change the terrain on them, when you work on the side of a hill, when you work up a hill, down a hill, when you work in thick cover, is your dog maintaining the line? And that's the details I want you to focus on, is the line. And it's how you practice it's going to make all the difference. So one other thing I would like to say is, if you find yourself and you've been practicing this, maybe you've been practicing this all summer, and now we're leading into hunting season here. Maybe you've been practicing it and you find yourself, you get out there and you're hunting and your dog just doesn't perform the lines like you want. And you're thinking, man, I've done a lot of work. I've really put a lot of time into this, and it's just not working. Well, there's the 75-2-50 rule. And I talk about this a lot too, because it's so important. And this is kind of blends what we call the 4 stages of learning with about how much it actually takes to get a skill through the 4 stages of learning. 75 reps and successful reps of a behavior or a skill set, that can be a retrieve, that can be hill work, that can be place, whatever it may be. 75 reps is going to get you to an acquired stage. That means your dog's not even fully fluent at the skill set yet. And that's definitely not generalized if you've followed the 4 stages of learning. I'm sure we've linked that here in this post, so you can check that out if you don't know what I'm talking about for the 4 stages of learning. But 75 successful repetitions, that doesn't even count the times your dog did it wrong. You've got to get 75 reps to get your dog acquired, and then move on to 250 reps for your dog to be fully fluent at a skill. You've still got 2 stages of learning left at that point. And if you haven't done the amount of reps that it takes, that is most likely why your dog would be struggling in those scenarios. So just keep that in mind. That's a lot of reps. You got 75, then you tack another 250 on. That doesn't mean 75 and then you can add the 75 and or subtract that out of the 250. I'm saying 75, then 250, and then beyond there, you'll want to generalize the skill set you're working on. Now, when you go out there and you're hunting, assuming you've generalized it even beyond the 250 rep count, and again, that's an average number, but just shoot for those numbers because it's going to get you there. If you go out there and you generalize it, then you're going to find that your dog's lines are better when they're hunting, and you're going to have a lot more fun when you're training, and you're going to have a lot more control over your dog, and you can have a lot more precision and accuracy on your retrieves, which is going to result in quicker retrieves and a more efficient hunt. Hope that helps. Build from here.